All right. So after helping out, a few different newbies on the team this week, and then just trying to make sure that I created just an even easier way of going through my own boxes that I have for setups and different programs and stuff. I just realized that I wanted to switch some things up, and get a little bit more organized.
Complete our bus off and then we're gonna move on.
All right. So, yeah, I just realized that I could do things a little bit more efficiently if I had organized some of my stuff a little bit better. So I'm just going to go through, but feel free to stop me at any point. Like I was kind of mentioning, I don't think that it'll take too long to show you some of like the tips and tricks that we've thrown together, but we're going to show you first. For anybody that is trying to build a team, we definitely recommend, having a couple setups on hand. I know that, Noelani's team in California, she has several setups that are probably look something similar to this as well. And so for me, as I'm, traveling or if I'm at an event, I just wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to come in to find, right here, Hero Box is extremely organized and labeled. And so I've gone through and, along like my top shelf, if somebody comes in, they can find all the yard signs that they would need right here, their whiteboards. They can grab, a demo bag full of drivers. There are all the banners right here for either like hero setups, TSP, Crank It Whole, and then the $50 and $100 donation banners. And then, we have all of our tea boxes here, tables, chairs, coolers, and we even hang, our closest to the pin markers and our easy ups as well. So again, everybody is working with their own space, and if it's just you, you might not ever, need this many boxes by any means. But for anybody that's really trying to grow teams and just be, better prepared, I wanted to show you what something like that would look like. And then even just having a couple of boxes, I throw just extra stuff in there, like golf accessories or something that we could use for, like throwing together a raffle basket. There's hero shirts in there. I have like extra pens and pretty much like extras of everything, raffle tickets, all kinds of stuff in here so that it's easy to just grab and replenish something that could be missing or broken or whatever might have happened. One thing that I did too is I started to organize even my clipboards. Because I have a team in Florida that comes and borrows setups, I have a lot more reps than I do, assistant territory managers or territory managers. I wanted to make sure that as I'm, basically flying through all my boxes, making sure everything is in here, I had to start writing lists on everything. So you guys will see that a lot throughout the presentation. But, even just taking a quick peek, okay, is the square in there? Are there pens? Are there envelopes? Are there some cards for somebody to get a hold of us? Something really simple, but you would think it'd be easy, but sometimes when you're going through, you just forget, about certain little things. And there's so many things going through your mind to make sure you're ready for your event. So I just wanted to show you a couple things. And then for the Crank It Whole boxes and the hero boxes, what I started to do is I actually started like almost like a table of contents, but for my box, right? So I wanted to make sure that in case I've ever taken something out and added it, to another box so that we were good for a weekend, or, somebody accidentally broke a jar, whatever it could be, when it's time to go in and replenish those things, I have to remember which box that came out of, and that can be a little bit difficult at times. So I went ahead and I just taped this like, list right underneath my, my lid to my box. And then I also made a little list so that it's really easy if somebody comes in my garage to grab stuff, or even, if Carter is helping me load my car. I can't tell you how many times we've just accidentally missed something. Maybe we grabbed the yard signs for like the hole-in-one in Cancun, but we forgot the stakes, and so it could always be something so little. But just having like a list right on top of your box that's taped is really helpful to be like, okay, did I make sure I went through and I grabbed everything? So just little tips and tricks and trying to keep your stuff organized and nice, and, keeping covers on your, on those like plastic table sign covers. I always keep like either bubble wrap on them, or I use those things that we used to buy in school that would cover like your textbooks. And so it just keeps it from getting like all scratched up and looking janky. And the only reason why it did get messed up is because of all the stuff in your box. So those sort of things, I might be a little OCD on my setups, but I want things to look nice. If I, spend money, I want it to stay nice. So once again, I just wanted to, kind of go through and show you what I have going on in my boxes these days. Now for paperwork, same thing. I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago. But when you're going through, 6 to 8 boxes to make sure everybody has everything that they could need for a weekend, it gets kind of hard to like keep them all in order. So what I started doing is just putting like a list on them of what is in each folder, so that as I'm going through, I can see, oh, I'm completely out of, the Cancun and Savings Pass winner recon sheet, or, oh, I ran out of Cancun certificates. And so just these like little tiny things that you could do just by writing it in there with a Sharpie, I'm telling you, that's going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. And so I've even, split them up between like, these are just prizes that you would end up raffling off if you do a crank it hole. This would be all of your tracking. So if you have people that are interested in the driver, then your driver leads are here, your tournament leads are here, your winners, for Cancun and the savings passes, your actual crank it hole tracking sheet is in there. If you're doing, a banquet fundraiser later on, the only 2 I could really find or wanted to throw in there were definitely the Cancun certificates. Having plenty of those will be important. And then I just printed off a couple, I think I printed off like 5 to 10 of those like info sheets that the tournaments could see for future options. And then over here, like help sheets. So I have like the supply sheet in here. There's also like the pitch for a crank it hole is in here, driver order forms, and I always make sure I have the credit card forms, because you never know until you're at a tournament, on a hole setting up, and all of a sudden you don't have service. So there's no way to take cards. So I have learned the hard way over the years, make sure you have credit card forms, because you could have service everywhere else except for your tee box that day. It just tends to happen that way sometimes. So now switching over, different gears, I just mix my hero hole setup with a TSP setup because it's so similar outside of really your yard sign and that hole in one being being a little different. So outside of that, same thing. What things do you need to have and make sure in your box at all times? What items are you grabbing outside of your box that, isn't going to fit in there? Are you keeping your stuff nice? Is it organized? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these lists in an email, and I'll show you guys a document that I'm working on, because as we bring people on, I'm realizing that our CRM has all of these documents, but it's not super clear on, okay, well, which document should I order, first, and what size, and what's the material type. And so I'm hoping between both this training and that document that we have started, I'll show you guys, but we're going to make it, we're going to add like more visuals to it with Leslie Morgan's help. It should really cut down any sort of like confusion, and people should be able to dive in once they already get through the training, be off and ordering everything they could need, and, fundraising within, a week or 2 of coming on board. So the main idea is just to keep things simple. And then same thing, for all the paperwork, the banquet certificates that you could need, and so forth. So again, I just realized, and I don't know why it took me so long, but having little lists inside your folders with all your documents makes things so much easier. It's not racking your brain trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to have in there again? Oh shoot, what am I missing? And then you get to that event the next day and you realize pretty quickly what you forgot. So I'm going to check the chat. Okay. I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast. And if anybody has any questions, definitely don't hesitate to speak up at all. And then, okay, great. Yes, Jen, I'm definitely going to send that out. And then even the super ticket box, this is probably one of my favorite ones. I actually just found this like clipboard from Walmart, but it's made by one of my favorite companies and shows that I like to watch called The Home Edit. So these two women go into like homes, and they're known for going to like famous people's houses and reorganizing like either their pantry or their closet or whatever space they want in their home. And so I had no idea that it looked like this until I opened it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Now I have like highlighters. I have, rubber bands in there for, I don't know, organizing like the money, afterward, the pennies for your scratch card games, an unlimited amount of pens for everybody to fill out those scratch cards at registration. I always use like a little whiteout pen because on our recon sheet, sometimes it'll already say like longest drive and closest to the pin, but sometimes the tournament doesn't have those contests. Maybe they did straightest drive and putting or whatever it might be. So I try to make my reconciliation form for a tournament really organized. I highlight who the winners are, what the contests were. So in case they want to present and not have me on the mic at their banquet, it's super easy for them to follow. And then it still has all the information on it that we'll need when we go to reconcile. But same thing, I put what kind of things you would want in a super ticket box that'll just make sure that your day goes that much smoother. Having a couple of like those table, stand flyers so that people can see either what was included in that super ticket if it was built into the entry fee, or when they're waiting in line, what they are going to be buying when they come to see you. And then I like to have the tee boxes on hand. I usually order like a bunch of them from Amanda ahead of time and just have them in my garage so that I can book a super ticket no matter, how last minute. I know I have like a couple of the main items that I'll need. But if those ever didn't come in time, then I always make sure I have extras of all the certificates. And sometimes the tournament has been in a pinch. So I've just given them, a certificate to give for something that they had. They're like, oh my gosh, we don't have a price for this. Well, use this. It's a savings pass, it's valued at $500. But I like going into an event and being able to like help calm things down for them. And so having, yourself organized, having more than enough stuff to help them if they were ever missing something really ends up just helping your entire day for sure. And then just kind of showing you guys like what sort of things I have, as paperwork in a super ticket box and in those folders will really help as well. And I know we have a couple OGs on this call. Noelani, Mike, do you guys have anything that you feel would be good to like add, or like have you guys done something like this for your own boxes yet? What are your guys' thoughts?
Audra, this is off the charts. This is amazing.
Like I'm telling you,
I thought I was
OCD.
OCD. You're the OCD queen. I love it. I love it though. These
it's not like the fanciest, you know what I mean? But like just get something off to like make your own lives easier. I'm telling you, I've learned the hard way several times and just not had what I thought I was over prepared for. And I feel like just throwing on a list with a Sharpie or whatever you have can really, save yourself in so many situations out there on the course.
I love the listing because I'm very similar to this. I have everything already set, good to go. And then I had one event where on Tuesday I gave away all of my certificates for Crank. And then Saturday I show up at the event and I'm like, oh, I realized once I was there, I didn't have it. And all I had was like an older form for a Form 11. So
there we go.
I mean, if I would have had my list, I would have been able to, check this. So it does happen. I was able to overcome it by emailing the tournament director, but we have a great relationship with Curtis. A lot of these events that you show up at, you don't even know who that person is. So I ended up being able to print some out, but I love the list. This is amazing. Great job.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm like, thank you. But yeah, I'm like, I just kept thinking, I'm like, this has to be able to help everybody, no matter how long you've been on the team. If you're a newbie, it could just help you from like the get-go. I don't know why it took me 12 years to come up with something like this, and it's so simple. But I would like to show you guys, Leslie and Morgan are helping me, like I said, throw together, and I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Basically beautifying this document. But if you guys, can you guys still see this? Let me see.
No, it's kind of fuzzy.
Okay, here, I'm going to show you guys this next form. So I have the nuts and bolts of everything that you guys could need to basically like print off, you know, for an event, but, and like, again, what the material is, what the sizes are, all of those things. But Leslie and Morgan are going to help add visuals and just make it, you know, maybe just prettier, for lack of a better term. But I just wanted somebody new coming on to just be able to look at this document and be like, okay, I have everything I need. I know, you know, that I can make this double-sided between like a $3,500 hole-in-one yard sign. Here's the size. I even put, you know, that you want to get the corrugated plastic instead of the foam boards if you can help it, unless you need it, you know, super last minute. You know, that I recommend ordering a mesh banner and 6.3 or, you know, 6x3, because I've had so many of those banners get too heavy and break my tents. But on, you know, that little $50 and $100 option banner that's super small, then I do that one in vinyl, and it's usually a little bit cheaper. You know, so this new document is going to have like the links that we suggest using to order your banners. I was really excited because Michael and Jen found that they actually have a sister company, signs on the cheap instead of banners on the cheap, and they ordered some signs today. So I put that in there for ordering your yard signs. I think Mike had mentioned he ordered them for like $9 or something. And then, you know, business cards. I'm like, I'm a Staples girl, but I know Staples is not everywhere, you know, so you might not have one near you. But if you need business cards same day and you want them double-sided, Staples is the place to go, you know, for sure. They can do that, where I know Office Depot, for example, does not do that. They'll print them for you same day, but they only do one side. And then I added like our Amazon link on here. And then per program, I added those lists. So I'm going to make sure that I at least email this with the recording, so you guys have everything you could, you know, possibly need in your Crank It Whole box, what to grab outside of those things for your hero or TSP boxes and your super ticket boxes. And then once we get a prettier version, then we'll send that out as well. Just, I feel like visuals always help kind of make sense of like what some of these things are, you know, especially if you're new.
Audra, one of the things that I was talking to Terry about today is, you know, we have what's called like a blanket Crank It Whole, but so PMP means prize management program, and then we need raffle tickets, Cancun, like the prizes that, you know, you can give away, tea boxes, all those types of things. Is that on this list as well? Because Terry was asking me for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just did it. Like,
how funny. So what I did is I did like all the, I didn't know like what to call certain things yet. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe if I bring in all of corporate, they can help me just kind of name some of these things. So I was just like, okay, Crank It Whole box contents. I almost wanted to say like physical things, but I'm like, okay, even like your setup needs are physical, but you're ordering prints. So outside of that, like what I did down here is I listed Crank It Whole prizes folder.
I like it.
And so I listed every single one of those: the driver certs, your $500 T-Box certificates, $650 certificates, the Cancun certs, savings pass certificates, and then same things with just like normal forms that you'll need for that program. So your supply list, your pitch, the driver order forms, everything I kind of like mentioned earlier in those photos. There is a list on here so that you can refer back to the CRM and find every single one of those. But this is like your list to go and, you know, cross your T's and dot your I's, if you will, you know?
I love it. That looks great.
So, this was pretty much like what I wanted to cover tonight. I knew that tonight putting this together was going to take way longer than presenting this, but I did feel like it was really important to let you guys know and show you guys like what we've been working on. and how much easier we're trying to make so many pieces, you know, of like our company, especially since we're going into such a busy time right now. Between October and November, I feel like we're going to be swamped. So these little tips and tricks will really help make sure that you are more than prepared for these busy weekends coming up. Let's see. I want to make sure. I know Leslie was going to be covering the chat. Yay. Does anybody else have any questions or anything else that they want to add at all?
No, but this was a really timely and helpful like call. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm like, that was the goal. I'm like, okay, I just want to make this as simple as possible. Like when you're new, even if you're not new, you know, I'm like, OGs need this too, because we've added so many different things in the last like year or so that was never the case. Like we had set programs, set pitches for years and years and years until last September, October. Then all of a sudden we've had all these changes all the time. And so we're even not used to it. And trying to stay on top of things. So I'm like, if anybody has anything else, let me know. I am going to send out the recording just so you can kind of refer back. And if anybody wants like some of those photos, I can send those to you directly as well. And then we'll get this document at least sent out tonight. And when we get a prettier one from the girls, then we'll send that out later and have that on the CRM as well. But I hope tonight was helpful. And thank you guys for joining really and for helping kind of cover all this stuff.
Thank you,
Can
Audra.
you take requests on coming and doing our boxes for us?
I know, right?
And
Oh, I know.
just getting my garage set up the way that one looks like.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but I said, I'm thinking, can Audra just come over and organize for me?
I'm telling you guys, even Greg out here in Florida is like, can I just pay you and you just send me like, can you just give me like one of your setups? He's like, I'd rather just pay you because everything looks so perfect. And I'm like, that might not be a good idea. We might want to look into that, We'll put it all together, we just ship it out, but we're not there quite yet. But thank you guys so much for joining. I'm like, yay, we got out a little bit early tonight. So I'll let everybody enjoy the rest of their nights and I'll get this out to everybody so you guys can refer back and see what you're missing in your boxes for this weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye,
Audra.
guys.
Thanks,
you.
Audra.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, thanks.